Hiohomi Takiape, April Cordovi, Machiape, Malakota and Taos Pueblo. My Tama is Joseph Conquilla Cordova. My Ina or my cause, Patricia Crow Cordova. I'm sixth generation from Chief Red Cloud. I'm the owner operator of AC and Associates. I'm a mother, daughter, community member, and I'm your host for today's Sissy, Unci, and Auntie's February edition. And today's title is Love Notes. Thank you all for being here. It's so exciting to have you all here. It's another month. We're in the second month of February. I was going to say December. We're in the second month of February, and it's so good to be here. I am thankful to be here, and I'm honored to be here. And I want to bring on our co-host, the one and only Jennifer V.
Hi, everybody. Skugtosh, Aninopchugik, Jennifer Varenchek require me. Hi, everybody. JVR here in the house. That's my new signature that I started using. And I accidentally sent it to someone who doesn't know me. So they replied, "Hey, JVR, da 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 da," and I was like, oh, I think I'm going to save that. So I'm going to start using that. That's my new name, JVR, Jennifer Varenchek require me. Happy to be here and happy February. Yes. Thank you for the delayed applause.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Jennifer, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that we get to connect, and it feels like it's been forever.
It is. It has. But just so the audience knows, Averill and I will be reunited in just a few days. We're both going to be in Los Angeles for the Navigating Adulthood project, and it's the kickoff. It's the first one. We'll talk to you more about it later, but I know I'm excited. I'm sure you are too, Averill, not only for the event, but also just to get to be in each other's space. Yeah, so should we start in a good way here?
We should start. First, I want to go ahead and thank everybody for being here and welcome you all here. Thank you for checking in and being with us here today on February's edition. Thank you for watching in the live or in the replay. So we're going to go ahead, and we always like to start in a good way, from prayers to welcoming, and now to I'm going to turn it over to Jen so she can start us off in a good way.
Thank you. So I have some sage here. Blessings to everybody, whether you're watching live or in the replay. And I'm going to go ahead and open us with a prayer. Skugtosh Creator Josh Dog, thank you so much for allowing us to have this opportunity to come together virtually and to connect and to share and to talk about love notes, especially for the next generation. And I ask that you continue to bless us, bless our families, bless our community, bless the country. And I'm so grateful again that we have this platform to share our ideas and our thoughts. And I'm so grateful also for our guest today, Tiffany. And just thank you, Creator. Thank you for everything. We are so appreciative. Talk you say. Amen.
The end. Thank you, Jen, for that. I really appreciate that. And prayers out to everybody that's watching. So we also like to open with welcome, prayer, and land acknowledgement. So I want to share that I'm streaming in from an area called Snow Mountain Paiute area, which you may also know as Las Vegas, Nevada. So that's where I'm checking in from. And we also do like to, as visitors or guests on land, it's always important for us to make sure that we know where we're checking in from. And also, if you want to let us know where you're checking in from, drop it in the comments, and we would love to highlight you all and welcome you to today's event.
Thank you, Averill. Also, I want to share with everybody that I am checking in from the illegally occupied Kingdom of Hawaii on the island of Oahu. And I live on the east side, which is the windward side. Currently, we're going through some tropical storms. So I was sharing with April earlier, I might drop out because our power and our internet gets cut. But let's hope that I get to be here the whole time.
We're praying and open.
Yep. All right. Should we move on to our big question of the month for our check-in?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, it is February. And the question is, did you send Valentines when you were in grade school? And if you did, what do you remember about sending them? So do you want to go ahead, April, or you want me to start? Go ahead.
Go ahead. You can start.
Okay. So yes, I did. I went to school in the 80s. And so it was kind of like, I don't want to say mandatory, but it felt like it was just expected that you would do Valentine's. And especially in like first grade, second grade, third grade. I specifically remember like part of our classwork was we would have to bring in like an old shoebox and make a mailbox and decorate it. And then you were expected to give everybody a Valentine. And I remember really liking that because I went to school with some families that were very wealthy, and they would like give really good candy with their Valentines. Me, on the other hand, my mom was very into natural. She was like organic before it was a thing. And so she didn't believe in giving candy. So we didn't give candy. And I always felt like ashamed that like you just get a little card from me, you know, not like I could give I couldn't participate in that part. But I do remember at the end of the day, coming home with my little shoebox and like going through the candy and just being like really happy about it. And of course, I never really like, who cared about the Valentines? All I cared about was the candy, you know? But that's what I remember. How about you, April?
It's funny that you say that. I wasn't even thinking about the shoebox thing, but yes, I went to school in the same genre, I guess you would say, and I do remember Valentine's Day. I actually remember fifth grade Miss Griffith's class at the school. I'm trying to think of what it was called because it was called a certain, but it's called something else now. Galden Elementary School. There you go. In Downey, California. And that's where I went to school. I remember the shoe boxes and having to cut a little portion out on the top so that you can put the Valentines in. I do remember it just being a simple long card folded in half, and then, you know, we would put it in there. And nowadays, like my grandkids, my takojas, they're doing all kinds of fancy stuff like bracelets and all these croc charms, and they take all kinds of fancy things to school. So I loved it. I love that everybody was shown love, I guess you could say, whether you wanted it or not. You were shown some type of something from your classmates. So that's what I remember about it. Thinking of this question, I was like, what do I really remember? But I always remember Miss Griffith's class. She really changed. She was very much one of my favorite teachers.
Oh. I know. Now you're making me think of my favorite teacher, which is Mrs. Cordice. Oh, I loved her so much. I had her both for first and second grade, and she really made me feel seen because I was the only person of color in the whole entire class, probably in the whole entire grade. And it was really like, well, number one, noticeable, but second of all, like I could feel it as a child, you know? And she really like went out of her way to make me feel comfortable. And I was already a shy person. So then you're adding on top of that, like I'm the only Native person or person with color in their skin. Like, it was very difficult, but I do remember her. And shout out to all you teachers. Like, you have no idea, you will be impacting your students. And I remember her so, so fondly. So, yes, we love teachers. Good teachers. I'm sorry. We love good teachers. There's some bad ones out there.
My sister is a teacher, and I'm thankful that you say that. Oh, well, she used to be a teacher. She used to be a teacher, and then she's a substitute teacher, and now she's actually a community something for the Navajo prep school. It's a dorm in New Mexico. So shout out to her. She we were talking the other day, and she was telling me about stuff, and I was like, man, they really need you, because she really advocates for them, like in different ways. And I said, if you're not there, who's going to do that? Like, you're really protecting them. And recently in New Mexico, it was Indian Day, and she was able to take some of her youth to I guess it's called the Roundhouse, or like their local civil place. And they got to interact with governors and senators, and I was really glad that my sister has been in that state before, or stage, or like that area where she knows a lot of those individuals. So she was very much able to connect them to, those individuals that we see them doing things, but don't necessarily think that we can do it. So I'm glad that my sister was able to install in the kids' mind that they are something, and they are our next voices, our next generation.
Exactly. I think it's so important. If you want to be it, you have to see it. Sometimes if you don't see it, you don't even know that that's even like a possibility of like, oh, I could do that. And speaking of possibilities and entrepreneurship, starting your own business, I want to introduce our guest. So let me tell you all about her before we bring her on. We are going to have on today an Indigenous fashion designer. She's also a podcast host and a former environmental professional who knows firsthand that your current circumstances don't define your future. After years in a career that was safe, but it wasn't her dream, she took a leap to pursue what she's always wanted: creating contemporary Indigenous fashion and telling stories through her podcast, Warm Embers. She's passionate about showing young people that they can overcome obstacles, that they can heal from trauma, and build the life that they dream of, one small step at a time. Everybody, please welcome Tiffany Wolfe of the Warm Embers Podcast. Yay! Come on down, Tiffany. Come on down.
Hi,
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Listening to you lovely ladies share your stories. Being in community, when you're an entrepreneur, you work solo most of the time. So it's like talking on TikToks or talking to my animals. I don't know. So it's so nice to be in community with you both.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for making time. I know when you run your own business, time can be tight. You can have like a lot of deadlines and whatnot. Before we move into all the questions that we have for you, did you want to comment at all? Did you ever do any type of Valentine's when you were in elementary school?
Yes, listening to you both share your stories, it took me back to elementary. So growing up, I was born on the Navajo Res. My father's from Pine Ridge, and just a little bit of backstory. So I moved around with different relatives growing up. So I went to different elementary schools, but one of them I remember was in town in Farmington, and we had our little desks out and we colored our little Valentine. It was a paper bag that everybody put the Valentine's in. And we got to, of course, as an artist, that was my favorite part, was like coloring the bag and making it all Valentine. Then we set it out in front of our desk and we all took turns and went around. And but I do remember at that time, some people had suckers or lollipops on theirs. And then most of them, though, were just like the little like Star Wars cards or He-Man. It was in the 80s also. So it's so funny. And then I remember people teasing each other like, so-and-so likes you to each other, you know. It's like so funny. But yeah, I just remember that was so fun, just going around, because it was like a break from studies, right? And we all got to do something fun. But it's so interesting hearing your grandchildren have crock charms and stuff. I was like, oh my, I didn't even think, like, in 2026, what are kids giving each other, right? Like, not little cards, huh?
Yeah. No, one of them's giving crock charms and the other one's giving bracelets. So it's like, you know, ordering bulkish items from a place, but it's not. I think one of the reasons that they're giving those kinds of things is because our household, they don't eat dye candy. So they don't want to give candy that they can't have. So they usually replace it with something, you know, something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wonder in the future, are they going to be like virtual or like little holograms or something, right? But I do also remember writing your name, right? That was a great practice to write your name. That's funny. After a while, it's like, I don't want to write my name anymore.
I know, you have to do it for like 30 kids, 30 things. I also remember if I liked a person, then I would like, oh, I want to give them this Valentine. But if I didn't like them, I'd be like, I don't like this Valentine, so I'll give it to them.
I remember that too. That is so funny. Like
I was making my own judgments.
I know. The ones you like the best messaging or the best pictures, you're like, I'm going to give these to my real friends, right? It's so funny. That is hilarious. I did that too. But yeah, that's such a great memory to bring up.
Well, good. So we, our theme this month, of course, is love notes and being able to leave love notes for our future generations, as well as, you know, for ourselves and everybody. But I'm going to jump into our question. So when you hear the phrase love notes to the next generation, what does that mean to you personally?
So I love this question because as an artist, an environmentalist, and a fashion designer, my next collection is based on love notes from our ancestors. That was like perfect timing because it just made me think about when I was environmental and I would do research on different topics or whatever we were trying to do at that point. But I came across this scientific article. And it was like based on national parks, like so Yosemite, all the national parks. And scientists had said, it was not a coincidence. So apparently, you know, when, what was it, Roosevelt or somebody made the national parks, they thought like, ooh, look at these places. They're so beautiful and so pristine and so gorgeous. We have to preserve them, right? But in reality, those were the love notes to us from our ancestors because they were kept through environmental stewardship, which today we know as, but back then it was just like daily practice, right? They would go cultural burns, they would do seeding, harvesting, they would know when to pick, not to overpick, right? And then which plants to kind of just steward and make sure that they're growing properly, pull out plants that don't belong. And so that's what we have today. That's our love note from our ancestors. So I feel like we're, as Indigenous people, constantly leaving love notes, either to our loved ones, right? Because I'm always telling my kids how much I love them. And to our community by showing up, right? By saying, they're having, I don't know, bingo. I'm going to show up. Maybe I'll bring a dish. I want to talk with someone, be in community with them. Or if there's a loss in the family, how can I help you? How can I be there for you? Or just show up in condolences. And then how we think in the next 7 generations, what am I doing today that will have a positive impact to the future? Because I want to be the representation I didn't see as a child, and also be the community member who was there for me as a child when I had disruption, trauma, drama, missing parents who are off on their own tangents, you know, and I had community members show up for me. I want to be that person also. So that's how I feel like we should express love and just be in the act of love. I mean, of course, there's sometimes for gossip and like, but those are few and far between.
That's beautiful. I love it. And I'm so glad that you were able to have people in your life to help you, give you support, encourage you. It's like, yes, those are the community members that really can really affect a person's trajectory of their life. You know, it's such an important role. So yes, I love everything that you said. Thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah, it's true. Go ahead. Sorry.
No worries. I love that you are saying that you're informing people, that you're reminding me as well what our ancestors left us. You know, we can be in the 20 in this time. I don't know.
Yeah.
In this century, and think of what did our ancestors leave? But these are those love notes. You know, it's our responsibility as Indian women, as Indian people, to take care of what our ancestors left us for that next generation. So thank you for sharing that. I really love that answer.
You're welcome. And I think it's also sharing that is taking up space in the scientific Western world, because we've been painted for so long as people who didn't know how to manage land. We don't know what to do with resources, as shown as like inept. And this really shows, you know, like, no, we were stewarding, we had our own. My last collection that's for sale now has constellations on it, and that is so it's Cassiopeia, but in the Diné culture it's female revolving, sorry. And it just shows that we had our own, we knew those constellations existed, we had our own name for it, we had our own stories that went around it. So, and I think I just love sharing that, because I when I see Native, because I'm always doing research, Native articles, you'll always see those comments that are so ignorant, like, well, we conquered you, or you didn't know what you were doing, you know. And it's like, no, we did. Like, however, let's go back, let's take a pause, let's look at the scientific research, right? Because in environmental, I know we always have to have data to support what we're saying, you know, and that's when people listen. So yeah, I think it's really important to shed light on this information, because it's not widely known, because it's also, we get pushback from the major narrative because it doesn't align with it, right? But you know what, we're here, we've always been here, and there are love notes, you know, if you look for them.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that. So going into our next question, we want to ask, what is one lesson you had to learn the hard way that you hope younger generations will not have to?
So this was a great question to reflect on, because it's like, what lesson? So I would say a lot of times I felt like I was alone, or had to do things the hard way, or afraid to ask for help. And I think being in community, you don't have to do that. Being just a person, you're worthy of love, you're worthy of being seen. Like, I hope our younger generation knows that they're worthy to take up space, to share their ideas, to not be afraid to overcome fear, and don't let fear talk them out of things that they want to do. because I had always wanted to be an artist. Since I was a little kid, I would be drawing things. When I was in 5th grade, I won a contest, an art contest for school, and it was put in the paper. And of course, because again, the drama and the trauma, I didn't get that recognition from home. Like, I took it home and nobody really whatever, But I remember winning. I was like, yes. So in my mind, I was like, I want to be an artist. I like this. And then when I was 17, I remember sharing with someone, I wanted to be an artist. And they're like, another Native artist? Don't we have enough of those? And it really made me feel like, like, it really hurt my feelings. And it made me, because at this point, I'm already, as a teenager, struggling with like identity, right? Identity issues, because I'm going to this school where the non-melanin people have like the money, the prestige, the sports, and I'm struggling and we don't have money. And it was just a lot. But I just hope that even though if a youth has a similar adversity, just know that you can overcome it. You can be seen. Just seek out the positive influences, seek out mentors. I wish somebody had told that to me, this may feel hard, but really just keep going forward and being positive. And that's what I kind of did, was reach out. And I didn't really reach out. I just observed positive people living positive pathways. And then I was like, what are they doing? How do I do that? So I hope that young people, like, don't be afraid to be seen. Ask for help. You're not alone.
I love that. I'm very much an individual or auntie or unci that loves to support, to cheerlead, to be there to lift up other individuals. I want to say thank you for continuing to believe in yourself. I don't know why I'm feeling emotional, but I'm feeling emotional. But I'm thankful that you continue to believe in yourself. To now you're your own boss. You're bossing it up, girl. So I'm really glad that you were able to share that with us, because sometimes our traumas and our dramas, they can take you two ways. They can take you up or they can take you down. And, in a time when it feels a lot, I think of young people, and going back to the question, you're going to get through this, and you're going to be stronger once you do. And now look at you. You're a fashion designer. You're a podcaster. You're an influencer. I just am appreciative that you really did listen to what that person had to say about you becoming an artist, and that you are doing different things to share your passions, and people are wanting it and buying it from you. You have a dress that you're creating, as you let us know earlier, and I'm just proud of you. Just as from one auntie to another, I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Opila, thank you. That means so much. But yes, even now in the community, we're encouraging one another. I just love that. It's so beautiful. And I think we need more of that, because I feel like in this world of social media, people forget that on the back end, is that really it's social. We're meant to be social with each other, encourage and lift each other up. So thank you. That means so much to me.
Aw. Well, we're going to go on to our next question, which is about Warm Embers. So through your podcast, Warm Embers, you amplify stories. Do you see storytelling itself as a form of a love note? And why is it important for our stories to be preserved?
Yes, and I want to plug our episode with Jen, because it was so fun sitting down with you, hearing your stories, talking about LA and producing movies, and I loved it. I love listening to your whole story. So yes, I feel like that's a love note. Like, you are capturing, and you are people who are interested in storytelling or be film production, listening to that they're encouraged, and that's the way of you sharing your story as a love note. So yes, I love that, and I think it's so important to be preserved, because what I'm finding through the podcast is that people are identifying, American society is identifying us through this lens of the Western movies, right? They're like, oh, you're 1800s natives, you know, we love that. We love to see that. You know, it's like, wait, no. We're not that anymore. We're contemporary. We're still here, you know. And as you share your story about filming, and that is so contemporary, like movies, you know, like we all love a good movie. We all love a good storyline. But that doesn't fit with the Western, right? The Westerns, we're the bad guy and we go away really fast. But it's like, no, we're the main character, you know. So I love that, because that's a love note and an important story that needs to be preserved for generations. Because, so what is it? Sterling Harjo, you, and then there's some other up and coming film festivals that are, there was a film that just won, I don't know what it was. Do you know? It was just recently. It was
is it about the dancer, the young boy who wants to be a hoop dancer?
Is it that one? I think so.
I think it's called Brave.
It got nominated for an award. I just seen it really quick when I was like frantically looking for something. But I mean, the fact that it's taking so long for that to happen, and that's why our stories need to be preserved, is because people can use it as a pathway. You're not only leaving a love letter, you're also leaving like breadcrumbs. This is what I did. This is how I did it. And then people could be like, okay, you know. So yes, I just think that as we walk in love, just like the Super Bowl, what is it? Love is greater. Or what was the saying?
Yeah.
Love is greater than fear.
Only thing greater than hate is love.
There we go. Yes. So I think this is perfect. This was perfect timing. I love our discussion on Warm Embers. I love this discussion. It's just so perfect.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you. Yes. I think that it's really important that, you know, we always, Indigenous people, we would share oral traditions. Like we would, you know, tell a story and it would just get passed down. And then, you know, we started seeing the value in writing things. And now here we are in a digital age where we're like virtually video sharing. And then film, of course, is another visual medium. And I think that it's really important to be able to leave those breadcrumbs for the future generation. I know for myself, I was discouraged. At first, I wanted to be an actress, and everybody was like, there's not enough roles for you. And I was headstrong. And then I realized that they were right. And then that's when it like made me want to be a writer, et cetera, et cetera. So, I didn't have anybody to look up to or to follow. So I keep that in my mind as I'm doing things. Like not only am I doing it for me and my own, like, my own selfish wants and needs of wanting to become successful in the entertainment industry, but I'm doing it because I'm trying to make it so that we don't have to wait until, you know, when did Reservation Dogs come out? 2022, 2023? Like, that is so long to have in the history of television. To have to wait for a Native American show to come on. Like, that is ridiculous. And so I want to be able to, there's this beautiful picture that I actually gave to my team, and it's a little, it's during the Oscars, and there's a little girl standing in front of the TV. Now I'm getting emotional, April. and she's looking at the TV. She's got her little feety pajamas on, and she's looking at Lily Gladstone, and because she didn't win, Lily Gladstone didn't win, and everybody was sending this meme around going, this was always the point. This, not her winning. It was being able to pass that torch or pass that seed down to the next generation so that because I didn't have that growing up. Like growing up, whenever I was really, really into pop culture, so I would watch all the award shows as a young person. Like it was odd. Like everyone was always like, why are you into that? But I just was. And I would only see either white people or black people. Very few Hispanic people, obviously no Native Americans. And I think that that's why it's such an important thing that all three of us of what we're doing, because we're pioneers, like podcasting that only came out like just recently. It became huge in 2020 during the pandemic. And it's like, how many Native podcasters are there out there? I mean, now there are a lot, but like how many have actually broken out and become, just as popular as Good Hang, which is Amy Poehler's podcast that won. Yeah. So at least it's a female that won. But yeah, it is important. Everything that we're doing is important. It may not seem like it now. And a lot of times it doesn't seem like it from my perspective, what I'm doing. It just takes a moment to like step back and to be like, oh yeah, we're all contributing. Us three ladies, we're all contributing to building like those steps so that the future generations have a pathway, and that we as Indigenous people are no longer in the backseat. We are the ones that are driving. The end. Okay.
The end. No, that was so important what you said, because we're going up the ladder and we're reaching back and saying, please come up. Like whoever's there, we want you to be here with us. So, and it's so crazy, right? It's just barely 2022 was Reservation Dogs, and then podcasts. There's like, I don't even know how many Native ones, maybe less than 20 probably. But the thing is that the consistency, is that we have to keep showing up, because it does get tiring though. I don't know if you ladies have experienced that. It does get tiring sometimes, like to produce the show is like editing, scheduling, it's getting all this stuff on the back end. There's a lot of mental work and admin that goes into it. Like this part's fun. This part is the fun part. The other part is like the promotion, the getting people involved, like asking your friends, can you share this? And then some of them will be like crickets. So it is work, and it's a labor of love. I love it.
It is a labor of love for sure. I looked it up. So it was 2021 was when Reservation Dogs came out. So yeah, we didn't. And then 2025 is the first Native Hawaiian with Chief of War. So it took all those years to come out for that. And they actually speak the Native Hawaiian language in Chief of War. And that was so impactful to see and hear audiences talk about, like, these elders were like, in my lifetime, I finally got to see a television show that was spoken in Olelo, Hawaii, like the Native Hawaiian language. And I can't even, I mean, I get it, because I'm like, that's how I felt watching Reservation Dogs. Or what was the other comedy show that
Rutherford Falls?
Yes, exactly. Yes. So watching those two shows, and there was a period where they overlapped, like they were both on the air. I was like, oh my God, we're living in Native entertainment paradise right now.
Right, for reals. Okay, so I looked it up. It's called Sugar Cane. It's the first film directed by North American Indigenous person Julian Brave Noise Cat to be nominated for an Oscar.
Yes, that was last year. And Sugar Cane. It's very heavy film that if you're not familiar with boarding schools, it could be shocking. And if you are familiar, it can be very triggering.
Yeah.
It's a good one. If people have an opportunity to see it, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah, it is intense though. At least for me, I was like, I couldn't watch it all at once. I had to like stop it and then go back to it because the feels, I'm obviously an emotional person as I burst out into tears. Oh, and I even wrote that in the email to you. I was like, I'm the one who's usually crying.
No,
So-
I did. I was like, oh my God, this is such a beautiful topic.
Thank you both for sharing. And also, I just wanted to add, it's also great that the actors are Native as well. And it's not just being played by somebody that might look Native or who producers or movie people think can pass as Native. It's really, and it's young people too, a whole community of Indian people. So
Yeah.
going on to our next question. Fashion is often seen as a form of expression. What messages do you intentionally send through your design, especially to Indigenous youth and young women who are watching?
That is a great question. Thank you. So I shared previously about the story Revolving Sky, and I also put on a jacket, but I want my pieces rooted in story. I want like this is called Star Eagle, and I wanted the person, because it's a lot of my artwork is based on constellations, on celestial bodies, empowerment. So, and then I have the eagle wings, which I wanted the person wearing it to feel powerful, like they have the ancestors behind them and the stars, and because we see the eagle as sacred and as messengers, to have this wrapped around us so that we go out into the world, we feel protected, powerful. So a lot of the imagery I use, I want the person to feel protected, to feel grounded in medicine, to feel like a callback to who we are as a people, that we go out into the American society who's trying to put their narrative as like cowboys and Indians and stoic. It's like, no, that's not us. No, thank you. I would prefer to have my own story be told, So a lot of my fashion is rooted in storytelling and medicine, like I said, constellations, because I feel like that type of story, as we discussed, or as Jen said, that we had oral traditions, different times of years had different stories. That story is so important to us. And growing up, I had this book about coyotes. So in the neck culture, coyotes like the trickster. And I remember these stories were so cute. It'd be like how the fawn got its spots because the coyote put it in the fire to try and cook it, but it really got the flecks of ash on it, and that's why it has the spots, So to me, storytelling is so important. And my Che, he was a Navajo code talker, and he just loved to talk. That man, he would just talk from the time he got up to the time he went to sleep. And sometimes he would take care of me, and he would just tell me stories about Seabiscuit. He would tell me stories about like cattle that he had growing up. And I just think story is so beautiful to be able to connect with one another, even in just kind of esoteric traditions, because I didn't grow up with culture. So a lot of times I started learning about like esoteric stories and traditions, and then it was like, wait a second, I remember people talking about like this god did this, and then it was kind of like across the different groups of people would have that same type of god, which I thought was really fascinating. So anyways, yeah, that's what my fashion, I hope when people wear it, they feel comfort, it's comfortable, they like the design, and they resonate with the story, so that we go out into the world, they feel grounded, Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. I love I don't know how to say it. I love everything that you say that's put into your design, from the constellations to the eagles to just feeling beautiful, powerful, connected. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you.
I love that too, because it's like you're putting intention
Mm.
into your fashion. And I feel like I do understand that, like, when I wear, let's say, like a ribbon skirt, I know that, either I pick the colors or somebody picked the colors for me, and they mean something, like they represent something. Yes, you might see the color purple, but do you know that that represents my tribe, because my tribal colors are purple and gold? Like, like, but it means something to me,
Mhm.
And I really think that, like, when we get to I don't know if you call it a stage, but like when you're at that age when your parents stop dressing you and you start dressing yourselves, and then, like, usually as a child you don't really care, you're just putting on clothes, and you're putting on clothes that are provided for you by your parents or whoever's giving them to you. But like as you get older, especially now as adults, established adults, it's like we can buy whatever we want. And I always think more about, like, what is it that I'm buying? Like, what does it say? What does it represent? What is all of it? And and I would much rather spend money knowing that either I'm supporting a good company or a good entrepreneur or a message, than like trendy fashion. And when you were talking, I don't think I have too many other than ribbon skirts or like regalia items that were either customized for me or have the intention that you were talking about. But the one thing that I can say that I related to was like earrings, like as Native people, our earrings are very important to us. And I was like, yeah, because either I feel powerful when I have particular sets of earrings on, or they remind me of, like, I know my friend Jennifer Tucker, she made these earrings, and I think about all the history that come into these earrings, which I won't tell you about now, but I'm just saying, like, okay, that's how I was able to connect with what you were saying and how important it is to know that you're not just putting that on. It's like it's a part of your energy, and it's important to have like good energy.
Yeah.
All of that just to say that.
No, I love that. I love that you know who made your earrings too, because I think that should be a big push, is that, like, I was talking to someone, I was like, oh, I should go, I don't remember where I was, but I was like, I should go up to everybody and be like, who are you wearing? Who are you wearing at a conference? Because I think it's so important to see our designs as Native people on the level of like luxury and big brand, because we're putting intention, time, hard work, they're handmade, and so I think it's so important to highlight the artists, like your friend Jennifer Tucker, is that what you said?
Yeah, Jennifer Tucker, Jenny Tucker, for sure. I love that you say that, because it reminds me, I made this video about how I was wearing these earrings one day, not these ones, they were like pink, bright pink earrings, and they're kind of loud. I admit they're kind of loud, but when I went to the mall, I was stopped twice, or two people commented, and I consciously made the decision to say it like it's an everyday brand. So they were like, oh my God, I love your earrings. I'm like, oh, thanks. They're Alyssa Willie. And then I just kept going, because, and they're like, who the fuck, who's Alyssa Willie? Like, how would they know who she is? She's like a Native creator, but like these, women living here on Oahu have no idea who she is. But I was like consciously said it like, oh, it's Calvin Klein, or oh, thank you, it's Coach or whatever. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're Alyssa Willie, thank you. And I hope I kind of made them go, huh? Maybe they even Googled like, who's Alyssa Willie?
Right? Oh my God, I love that. It's so important because it makes the artist also feel like, oh yeah, because I love supporting my fellow artists. I have so many earrings from other people. And I think one of them, I couldn't remember where I got it, and it just broke my heart. I was like, oh my God, I can't remember who made these.
I know. Yes. I feel bad when I don't remember. Oh, but this leads me to another question. So is your fashion, is it Tiffany Wolfe? Like how would, if I was wearing what you're wearing and somebody asked me, who am I wearing? How would I answer that?
Yeah, Tiffany A. Wolfe or Tiffany Wolfe, either one.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. It's Tiffany Wolfe.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. So I think we have time for at least one more question. So I will ask you, what does loving the next generation actually look like in action beyond simply saying we care? And let me read it again because I think I stumbled over my words. What does loving the next generation actually look like in action beyond simply saying we care? I know it's a hard one.
I know. It's like I was just like thinking of all the ways that people have shown me growing up, right? It's just
Mm-hmm.
I think what it comes down to is being seen, as a mother with my kids. It's always, they're adults now, but when they're little, it's like mom, 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 right? Because that's really, they just want to be seen, and I just love also being an auntie. I just love spending time. Even today, even though my niece, nephews, kids are grown, I created a little group chat on Instagram with them, and I like to send them things that remind me of them. And I think that is showing love, like love in action. I thought of you. Here's this. Even though I'm not calling them or, at least I'm showing them like you've crossed my mind today. And I also have a friend that I like to send cards to because when I first started in environmental, she's the first person that I kind of glommed onto and was like, you're gonna be my friend. And then I used to call her my sister from another mister because people would think we were sisters. And I just love sending the cards to her just to remind her, like, I'm thinking of you. So love and action is just action, really. It's like sending things, calling people, and when you're with them, not on your phone, like, right? Like zoning in and being like, I see you, I hear you. The one thing I'm terrible about though is like the little things, like if you said, oh, my favorite brand is Calvin Klein, I don't know why, but I can't catch on to that. So when it's your birthday, I'm like, what should I get Jen? But she told me like she loves Calvin Klein. I'm bad at that, but I'm great at like picking up a card and sending it, or sending. Yeah. What about you? What do you guys think?
I'll let April go first because I've talked a lot.
I want to go back one question before, because I remember one time I was down in Hollywood, and we were on a rooftop. I was meeting somebody, a friend for after work something. Anyways, and I was wearing these earrings that I love, and they're big Auntie earrings, right? And three people came up to me, and one lady came up to me. The first lady came up to me. She's all, "Oh my God, I love your earrings!" And I was like, Emily Winnie, look her up on Instagram. And she like looked her up right away, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, her stuff is so nice." I was like, hit her up, man, because she does great work. And she was like, I see it. So I love to also just highlight whoever I'm wearing as well. But now going back to this question, the types of things that I do, I'm thinking of like my takojas. Like I do a lot of online stuff. So they're always wanting to, like, they're watching YouTube, and their dad is always like, why are you watching them? You can be making these videos and people can be watching you. So we had went to a local library. I like taking them on adventures. I always say, let's go on an adventure. I don't tell them where we go. I don't tell them what we're going to do. They just know it's an adventure. So we had went to this new library that opened up, and we stumbled upon the media center, and they have a podcast room that you can use in the library. Yeah. And the kids went in there and they were like, this is so cool. And I was like, you guys could do it if you want. And they're all like, yeah. So I'd like to introduce that we're going to be doing Viveros Family Podcast, which is just me and our family, mainly my tapojas, which are Delilah and Eli. And we already have like every Tuesday, we have meetings, and we already planned out our podcast schedule and what they want to talk about. So it's just really being involved with them. Like if somebody asked me what's their favorite meal, I could totally tell you. I think it's easy for me to say I can be in action with my takojas because I'm here all the time. But then with like other people or other individuals, it's a lot harder for me, and I need to step up my game. But I'm also going through things on my own end, so it's harder to like be connected with people outside of my bubble. So I need to step up my game on that. But for my next generation, for my takojas, it's really being there for them when they need it, or when they want me to scratch their back or rub their back, or even throughout the house, we'll just say, I love you, and the kids repeat that. Yeah.
Cute.
So those are my love notes in action. Jen, what about you?
I can't wait to hear your first podcast. I know they were actually recently, the whole family recently came to Hawaii to visit. And so I really got to spend some fun time with the kids. And it was what I'm referring to is the house when we played all those games with them, April. We were like making up games. Some games we've actually seen on the internet, but others we were like, we didn't have any tools, so we just like made them up. There were like tiles on the floor, and so we were like, okay, who can march in the tile without looking, stay within the boundaries without looking. We're going to give you 30 seconds and you have to, just like making up these games. It was so much fun. So I know that they're going to have a great time doing the podcasts. As for me, I think this is a great way to tie in kind of like what Avril and I will be doing next weekend. So the next generation for me, I used to do financial education, and I did that for about 2 decades. I would travel around to different reservations or urban areas, and I would put on these financial educations. I would do workshops on either just like basic financial education, or I would do entrepreneurship. That was a big one. I would travel around and I would do these like week-long workshops for Native youth to teach them how to be their own boss. And I also, I did a lot like finances and like business. That was kind of like my world. However, I stopped because it got to be a lot traveling around. Like at first it might seem like really glamorous. You're flying here, you're flying there, you're checking in hotels. But then after a while, it's like, it became very like confusing in that like I'd wake up and I'd be like, where am I? What am I like? What day is it? What am I doing? I could totally understand how people, they sometimes make fun of like either stand-up comedians or singers. They're like, good morning, Chicago. And they're like, you're actually in Montana or whatever. Like, it's like making a mistake, because that's how I started to feel when it was just going. And also like you with environment and like not following your passion, like that's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do is do film. So I stopped, I took a step back and I started focusing on film. However, so I moved here in 2019. and really focused on film. And I've been having like great success with that. Last year alone, I was able to produce or be a part of 6 short films. Very excited about that. Yes. So this year is when we get to release all these films and hopefully go to film festivals and whatnot. But American Indian Community Council of Los Angeles, which is an organization, nonprofit that I was very involved in when I lived in Los Angeles, they got a grant to put on this project, the Navigating Adulthood Project. And it's for Native or Alaska Native people ages 16 to 25 that are LA residents, LA County residents. They can come, there's 4 different workshops. They can come to any of the 4 workshops. They can come to 2 of them. And we're going to teach them all these different, we're going to have workshops on different things. So we're going to have, I'm doing financial education. April's doing some cultural activities. We're going to have life skills. We have a native chef coming in who's going to teach them. We're going to not only give them lunch, but like give them tips on like how to prepare food. We have mental health specialist who's going to talk about wellness and actually lead them in a meditation. We have someone coming in on higher education. So we have this full day. And if you come, you get $100. And if you come to 2 of them, you can get $200 plus a certificate. And we also have all these giveaways, gift cards, and things that we'll give, we'll give away to people that attend. So the whole reason why I'm telling you that is because when they came knocking and asking for me to be involved, of course, at first I was like, I don't have time. But the more I started hearing about it from April, who was like involved, exactly. She's like, I'm pulling you in. And so I spoke with the organizer, Roberta Javier, and she just has all these fond memories of when we used to do these events. And so I said I would come on, and I said also that I would write the financial education book, which I did. And it's 66 pages. It's all about financial. I'm back. I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Okay, sorry. My screen went completely black. So going back to it, that is my love note. This workbook that I created is my love note to the future generations. And I was so proud of it because not only am I explaining like how to make a spending plan and what's the difference between needs and wants, how to check your credit. Not only am I explaining like those things, but I'm also putting in there like emergency resources, like what to do if your car's repossessed, what to do if your electricity gets turned off, what to do, if you're having some kind of financial crisis. Like these are some places that you can go to. And that is my true love note to the Los Angeles Native community for future generations. So that's my love note in action. That's my answer. Thank you.
I love that so much because when I bought my first car, I had nobody to help. I just walked into the dealership, talked to the guy. Thankfully, he felt probably bad for me. I was like 19, 20. I needed a car to go to college, and I had just had my daughter and zero financial education, grew up in poverty, didn't know about a credit score, and they put me on a lease. I think the guy co-signed for me. Yeah, because I think he felt bad for me because I was just like, I just want to go to college, and he helped me. So, I mean, the fact that you put that is just brilliant because not everybody has the access to that kind of education. So
yeah, that's so true. And I was thinking about it that some people might say like, why are you telling them what to do if they're getting evicted or they're getting a repossession? And I'm like, then you don't know my community. you don't know what it's like. Like you have no clue. I used to also work at Tribal TANF. So I know like firsthand not only for my own experiences, but just like working in the community, like these are real issues that people face. And like, you don't know what to do. You're going to the Indian Center at the 11th hour, like, can you help me? And by then it's usually too late. So for sure. Yeah. Definitely. We talk about credit scores and like, look at your credit score before you walk in so that you can have an idea. And then how to like, see if you're getting into predatory lending. Like these are all things that for me personally, like they're just a part of me because I did it for so long. And I've always it's probably just like you know how to sew, you know how to design. It's just a part of you. But now I'm asking you to write a 60-page book on that. And so you're like, oh my God, there's so much information.
So much, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it was like for me. It was like, just like, help me organize every single, and even today I was like, oh, there's so much more I could put in there. Like, I didn't put this in there. I didn't put that. But that's for another version. I'm going to make another version, this one specifically for Los Angeles County, and the ownership is American Indian Community Council. But I'm going to make my own version where it's going to be like national, and it won't be like specifically for LA County. And that again will be another love note for the future. For the future generation.
I feel like you could do a TikTok series on that, because actually I was looking for something. I watched a whole like little deal on I think it was how to use your credit union to get the car loan or whatever. But yeah, I think you could do like a whole series on like how would you do this, you know, because like I said, I didn't know anything. I had to learn everything the hard way, through predatory lending, through defaulting on my credit cards because I didn't know what I was doing, you know, because I didn't grow up with any of that terminology, you know. So, and I think the other level is getting your mental health right in check, because that really helped me. Going through therapy all these years, I'm back in therapy because as an entrepreneur, all those little cobwebs start like really showing up. And when you're working for yourself and have to put yourself out there, you know, so therapy, mental health, that would be the other love note for future generations, because I can say my kids never had to go in by themselves anywhere. Like, we got their cars, we talked to them about credit scores and really helped them with stuff. So thankfully we were able to do that, you know, where I didn't have that. So
yeah, it's not usually a topic that's very comfortable for everybody. Like, if you're having financial pressure or financial issues, the last thing you want to do is try to explain it. But unfortunately, then that's modeled behavior, you know. And I believe, and this is part of the book, is that we already are excellent resource managers because we had to be back then. Like, we didn't have cash and credit, but we had food, we had water, and we had to think ahead for like, okay, the winter's coming. So do we have enough food stored? Have we planted and grow enough stuff so that when the winter comes, we have access still to food? And if you're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I don't really want it. Like, you couldn't do that because you would die. Like, you wouldn't survive during the winter. So it's like, it wasn't as something that you could just, you know, put off till tomorrow. And so that natural like resource manager is all inside of us. It's all a part of our blood. Just like I was using this as an example of like if the movie, and I hope you remember it, it was called Stand and Deliver. About, if you haven't seen it, then I highly recommend it. But it's with Edward James Olmos, and he was teaching math to these inner city Los Angeles students that all pretty much were from Mexico. And he was explaining to them about how math and the stars, all of that is indigenous history, is in their culture. So math is a part of your natural language. And I feel the same way about money. It's like, it's just now taking that mindset of saving your food and saving and planning ahead and using it for your future. And now we're talking about money and cash and credit and all that stuff. So it's a part of us. We just have to activate it. That's all. And I'm hoping that when people come next Saturday, that they learn, and then they're gonna be able to make good choices, and then they can take that and then pass it on to their kids, and now we have a whole thing of education popping up.
Yeah.
And it's this Saturday, not next Saturday.
Yes, it's the 14th. It's Valentine's Day.
Oh, cute.
Yes.
Are you going to take little cards to them all?
I don't think so. I don't know, actually.
You're like, here's this book. This is my Valentine to you.
Yes, exactly.
I love that.
Well, thank you all. It's been such a great time to visit. I know we're at the end of our time together, but I'm really thankful that we got to spend time together to visit. Is there any last words that you'd like to say, or that you'd like to shout out, or have people leave with?
I just want to say thank you, Ekehe Wopila. Thank you so much for this opportunity to chat with you. It went by really fast. It was so fun. And thank you for the listeners for your time. Time is a precious commodity, and I just want to say thank you. And I had so much fun, and Valentine's is coming up, so don't forget to get something for your sweetheart, your snag.
And if you don't have one, then get it for yourself and love yourself,
Oh, yes. I love that. Yes. That's like
or
me Christmas shopping. I'm always buying
Emma. Or even if you do have someone, like I'm married, I pick out my own flowers. I pick out the own thing because I'm like, he doesn't know what I think. Let me get what I really want.
Right? That's what I was like, Valentine's Day, we're going to go shopping.
Exactly.
Well, thank you all for watching, and we will see you again in the future. Stay safe, stay connected, and we'll talk to you all later. Thanks for being here.